In the last best of 3 that Prosto and Spirit played just yesterday, Prosto were the superior force, but it was not without some trouble and difficulty. And now both teams have to run it back as the final opportunity to get to our CIS Minor Grand Final, playing off against Hellraiser and also securing a spot in that major in September. I'm Parna, your desk host for this mine, and I'm joined still by Halvor and Matthew.
Haven't been subbed out.
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Still in it. No, but yeah, excited to see this kind of rematch.
Just making sure my wire's behind me, Halvor, you know, don't give me that look.
Ultimate
quickly
professional.
rushed my headset on and it was across the front. But we got it out now.
It's all sorted. But yeah, hopefully that's going to be the case for the best of 3 as well, because I think what we saw, the first time we saw them around, not necessarily the cleanest best of 3s from either side. I think obviously Prosto, seeing how they came out victorious, were the better team, and they did play cleaner in that sense than Spirit did. But I think it's going to be a bit of a different story going into this one as well, because Spirit definitely have learned a thing or two in terms of how they want to approach their veto and everything. And I also think, just from an individual point of view, it seems like Davkos and Sumda Young started off great here. Already got that good feeling within them in terms of having good, solid performances versus Avangard, and that's going to carry on further into this match. We saw how helpful it was for the Americas teams, right? Like for Complexity to be able to go through, play 1 best of 3 before they went into the grand finals. I think we're going to see a similar effect.
I agree. I think definitely playing a game before going into such an important match has always like a big impact. I think it's very hard for Prosto to just start playing now and instantly reach, you know, this 100% level with no warm-up whatsoever before that. And I think what we saw from Spirit was very convincing. I thought they were very good at reading the economy of their opponents, knowing how to adapt, what tactics to run, thinking about what kind of weapons their enemy have. So very convincing, and I think Spirit are on a good way.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's remind all of you at home about what we have going on across social media. With the hashtag FACEITMiner, you can get involved and show your support. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever else you can find us. And after you've done that, take a look at the bracket with me now. Also, we have -20. Sign up to FACEIT Premium service with that code and you'll get 20% discount. And that's only going for a limited amount of time. One of the best matchmaking services out there, one that I use myself. And it's always a pleasure. You always get some good games and have a good bit of competition. Talking about good competition, we have Hellraisers waiting in that grand final. And Prosto or Team Spirit will be playing against them, and you can see how we've gotten into this position now. Avangard, our first team of the day to exit the competition.
Yeah, so rematch once again, and I think we can talk about familiarity. You know how, again, even though Prosto won yesterday, and we're talking about how we've seen improvements from Team Spirit, it's not like Prosto can't take anything away from the first best of 3 either, even if it was familiar territory in terms of train and all that stuff. They also had the opportunity to watch Team Spirit play now and see what kind of adaptations and changes they made to their play from yesterday as well. So it's not like they're completely at a disadvantage, because that's kind of how we've pictured it up until this point. The fact that Spirit has the benefit of having warmed up in a competitive environment, not just running around on DMs and that kind of stuff. But there's definitely things boding, you know, going in the favor of Prosto as well, leading into. So I wouldn't say, you know, it's a wash at this point that we're expecting Spirit to see Hellraisers in the finals.
Well, if any of you are unfamiliar with either Prosto or Team Spirit, Freya has some information for you on them.
Prosto come off a loss against Hellraisers, who were the first team to secure their spot in the Challengers stage. The side will be relying on the dominant force of Flaric to create success and clinch the win over Spirit. After a win against Avangard, Spirit will turn to face their next opponent, Prosto. Coldy and Sumda Young proved their form in the best of 3, and will need to repeat this performance if they hope to secure the second CIS Challenger spot.
That much coveted second Challenger spot from CIS. Guys, let's get into talking about the details of this match, starting with Prosto. Matthew, as a team, what would you say are their standout qualities that they've shown at this minor?
Well, first of all, it might sound a little bit weird, but they started this tournament with a scary loss against Blink, and I think somehow it might have been like a blessing in disguise, because I think it got them, realizing the importance of this tournament and kind of got them started playing really well. But when it comes to the players, I think obviously on the CT side, their double up ability has proven to be extremely damageful. I think also Flourish is probably one of these players, as T was able to just, pop off site and just get a double or triple kill. Sviat, obviously also very capable with the rifle. So overall, I'd say the double up as CT and also their explosivity as T are probably their biggest advantage.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely get on board with that. And it's kind of cool as well, because normally you'd see teams having, I guess, more or less a set amount of oppers in their team. So you have, obviously they have Ivan, who's the primary opper, and it's usually Kensor who picks up that secondary op when they decide to double up. But we've seen Def and we've seen multiple guys on that team actually pick it up and do pretty decently for themselves when it calls for it. So they have some more strings to play off of. I think, I guess the right players in that sense have had the performances needed. And again, yeah, the standout player just in total for me is Flourish. It's been a model of consistency.
He was really flourishing over the course of this tournament.
Flourishing and flashy, definitely. So, he needs to continue that going into it in this matchup as well. So we didn't seem to have the best go at it versus Hellraisers. It was more about Ivan and Kensor in that series, even though it didn't go all the way. But that's again something you can build off of. Flourish more often than not shows up and comes to play. So if Ivan and Kensor can back him up behind that, then they should have a pretty good opportunity.
Matthew, if you look at the best of 3 that they played yesterday and then come into today, what factors should we be looking at that might carry over?
Well, first of all, I think they were very close to beating Hellraisers. I think they really pushed them to their limits. So for them, it should be like a factor that must be giving them confidence. They must think to themselves they were very close. They pushed Hellraisers to the limits. I think what they really should work on, or what's going to really be important for them, is those very high pressure situations. We've seen them yesterday losing a bunch of clutches that we thought they had the advantage in. So obviously it's the pressure getting to them, the importance of this tournament. And this is the scenario where you go to bed, you think about what's happening, and somehow it works in your brain, and maybe the day after you have this small voice in your head be like, in that 2v1, just play it safe.
Shouldn't
play it safe.
Shouldn't be.
It's like a step by step. You gotta make some mistakes to learn. That's how it works. Yesterday that cost them the game as Hellraisers. Maybe today, based off that, they can not make it again.
Yeah, because it's not big things. It's not like you need to reinvent your entire body of work pretty much in CS over the course of a night. It is very much little things and the small details that the very good players are going to punish you for. I will say also that I don't rate the players on Spirit as good as they are on the same level as Issa or Voxic, on the side of Hellraisers. So even if you're not able to completely remove those errors, if you're at least able to keep them to a minimum, that should do you wonders as well, because they're not, the Spirit on there are not going to be as cruel to punish you whenever those mistakes pop up. So yeah, again, it's a game of limiting mistakes. That's really what it comes down to between 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Let's switch our focus onto Team Spirit and talking about impact and players. Which ones are the standouts on Spirit? We've seen some Die Young over the course of the tournament really prove that he not only has a cool nickname, but he's able to give us some good performances. And then I think on paper, we've also seen Davkost leading the team, and he's been in the scene for a while, so he has the experience potentially at this point to not be too phased by where he's at in this minor. Halvor, who are you thinking of in your head? I
mean, it is kind of a trio on the side of Spirit, and it's the 2 players you mentioned, Sam Dae-young, Davkost, but also the latter starting Coldy, who's kind of the quiet guy in that sense. I mean, Maniac has experiences playing with him in various pickup ladders and that kind of stuff, and kind of attests to the fact that he's just a reliable performer, and I think that's a necessity if you have guys who can be a little bit more up and down, as we've seen with both Davkost and Sam Dae-young. Sam Dae-young especially, yesterday, not necessarily having the greatest of series. It's good to have that backbone and that pillar of the team that can always reliably step up and give you what you need to be able to move further.
Matthew, what would you say are going to be the key things that this Team Spirit should be looking out for when rematching Prosto? So specifically, with regards to playing them a second time within 2 days?
Well, obviously, first thing that comes to mind is the veto. I think the veto is probably going to go a very different way than it went the first time. So I hope they have second plans. I hope they have ideas onto how the veto can go. And then when it comes to the game, I think they've showed qualities in this best of 3 we just watched that they have to carry along. Once I said, like, I thought they were very good at analyzing the economical situation of their opponents. They were very good at realizing what can we do based off what the opponents have as a weapon, as utilities. And I think at this level, like the CIS minor where we are right now, this is a quality that can make you go a long way. Because, you know, teams sometimes struggle when economical difficulties arise. They don't really know how to play when they don't have the utilities. They don't know how to play if they cannot be aggressive. So knowing how to utilize the economical difficulties of your opponent is going to help you a lot. And I think that's going to be the case against Prosto as well.
Yeah, and to add on to that is the fact that Spirit have shown multiple times, they did it in the best of 3 they just played as well. Like, even if they win pistol and they've had issues, you know, at a earlier point dealing with you know, force buys, etc. from the other team, they're willing to take a timeout that early on. Just immediately, as soon as they feel like they have an advantage and they go into a round that they should win, they're happy to take a timeout to just discuss things, make sure they have a proper game plan, they don't run into any sort of traps or throw away unnecessary advantages right off the bat. So I think that's also, you know, a very promising sign for a team that is poised to win.
So if we look back at the veto yesterday, it was arguably one of the most interesting of the CIS minor so far, because Spirit picked Train, which was a large surprise, a map that they pretty much never play and is a ban for them usually.
Yeah.
And as we've seen yesterday, it backfired completely. Prosto took it, and now they've returned to what we originally thought was going to be the case, where they banned Train out from the start. We saw Cash after that as a pick from Prosto, and Mirage would have been the decider. This time we're going to see Dust 2 first on the side of Spirit. We've seen that quite a bit at this tournament, and I think they've played that at least a couple times already.
Absolutely. This is right now the veto I wanted to see from Team Spirit yesterday. Like, to the point, ban out Train, pick Dust 2. That's where you're going to have the biggest kind of difference between the two teams in terms of familiarity and comfortability. So I think that's a great choice from Team Spirit.
What do you think of the nuke pick?
Yeah, then, like, it couldn't be, obviously, apparently we're not allowed to have normal vetoes in that sense from these two teams. So Pro100 going with the nuke pick, that's very surprising to me, because, I mean, we haven't really seen it being played a whole lot. Just in general.
I have a theory about this nuke pick, because over the course of the tournament, Inferno actually has been a veto for Spirit, but I think because they had this very, very dominating performance in the best of 3 that we just saw, it might have convinced Prosto not to pick Inferno and maybe go on a nuke pick, because you've just seen them completely demolish their opponent ST, and you don't want to.
They could have also gone with Cash, though.
They could have gone for Cash. That was a possibility, absolutely.
Yeah, so I understand why Spirit wants to remove that. They weren't really, I mean, convincing when they played versus Prosto in the last best of 3 on Cash. So, you know, yeah, nuke is an interesting pick, and they probably could have gone in a different direction as well. But I think, you know, compared to yesterday, I don't think there's any doubt that Spirit came better out of this veto than Prosto.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think having played against them a few times with LDRC back then, they can definitely play nuke. Might not be, you know, one of the top tier map, but definitely able to play it. They have a very exotic style of playing.
The roster was slightly different when you were playing them, right?
It might have been possible.
You can still imagine that some of those lingering ideas from that map might have continued today?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, when you feel like you have a grip on a map, and even though you do roster changes, you somehow always turn around, you know, the principles that make you win, you know how to play it. And I remember they were very annoying. They would always take yard control, come play under the ladder, pushes you like in a CT position that's really uncomfortable because you don't really know what you have to do. So definitely not a easy win for Prosto on nuke.
Just final point before we speak to our casters. Guys, what do you think about the amount that we've seen Dust 2 at this minor? I can't exactly remember at this point with regards to the Americas minor that's already finished, but I do feel like we've seen it a reasonable amount, an increasing amount perhaps.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, yeah, even in the Americas minors, we did get to see it quite a bit. And
yes.
And in some scenarios, it is a matter of a pocket pick, like a team that doesn't have a wide enough map pool can only ban out one of their not so great maps, and we see that being the result of it. Just teams taking advantage of other people's weaknesses, which is completely fair. But so far in the CIS minor, I would say that we have had more evenly matched teams on Dust 2 compared to the Americas one. Because in Americas, it was more used as a bit of a counter pick in that sense. Here, it seems like they've, I guess, grown fond of the map a lot quicker than a lot of the other regions, and I think that makes for a lot more interesting and more fun matches to actually watch.
Thank you, Halvor. Matthew, quick thoughts, predictions. We've got to get our casters involved as soon as possible.
Okay, quickly, I'm going to go for Spirit. I've been convinced by what I've seen the best of 3 just before that if they can carry on this form, I think they should have it in the bag. You never know.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I'll flip the coin and let it land with Prosto facing upwards. I'll leave you guys votes with Spirit. On the desk, we are split. What about James and Dan, our casters? Who are you guys going for?
Ooh, that's a good question, man.
On 3, 2, 1, Prosto.
Well, I wasn't ready. I'm looking at
the everything.
I'm looking at the fraggers. Like I'm a fan of Coldy. I'll say that much, right? But he's one player of 5, and Spirit, they finished strong, but the rest of it, I don't know, man. I'm going to say Prosto. I'm going to say Prosto.
We had like 6 halves in our last game, and I only enjoyed like the efficiency from Spirit of one of those halves. So that's why I'm going Prosto, because I feel like they're better rounded at the moment. So that's my analysis.
Yeah, I was theorizing that that last match we saw was kind of like local Counter-Strike as opposed to international. You know, like when you're on your arcade line, you think you're the best, you go to another one, you get smashed, and you play an entirely different game altogether. Those of you who have travelled on any circuit will know what I'm talking about. All right then, Team Spirit with some jumping pistol frags to put themselves in a 4 versus 2. But they do not know where these last 2 players are. As you can see, FACEIT and FACEIT are moving quietly, slowly. Because if they started running around, Team Spirit would be like, okay, I can hit him in mid. Excuse me, I've got hiccups again. I can hit him in mid, B is open, let's go to B. But they have to be careful because they don't know what's going on. FACEIT will have a look. I like pushing through the smoke when the bomb is being planted. Not that you can necessarily do that in a pro match, but that's what I like to do, and I want to talk about Mida.
What's your favorite Counter-Strike map?
My favorite map, Overpass at the moment.
CS
I think.
Assault?
I think
No.
you know I do like Office. I like Agency. Agency is fun, but favorite map for me, I think with the newer maps which have come into the rotation, people don't like learning things, right? So you play the newer maps less often, which makes me desire them more. Like I loved playing Cash for the longest time, but if you play Pugs, it's always Mirage Cash. So, especially with new Dust 2, before, you know, old Dust 2 would be there, but you don't get to play like an Overpass so often. It's such a mentally stimulating map for me. I don't feel like I've played it anywhere close to enough. So Overpass is my current favourite. What about you?
That's an interesting one. Overpass has seen a lot less play recently too, so you're being denied on repeat. FACEIT has been shot in the foot. Oh, Team Spirits out the gates with a strong push onto long. Quick boost, and they can just hold on to this position for the moment. And considering that Prosto are on just pistols, it's pretty hard to do much here, even though they're all sort of stacking. It's pretty difficult indeed. I wonder what kind of smokes are possible towards the site now from A-Long. Obviously, like there's a lot of stuff, and okay, we're gonna see. Cool. Okay, where does that go?
Cool.
Somewhere on short. Nice. I was about to say, because it'd be really cool, like if you could throw like a bunch of smokes onto the site proper from A-Long.
Check out this boosting. Good time on the clock here for Team Spirit. But the whole team is here, so how confident will they feel about going elsewhere? And this is something that we have seen from a number of teams. They'll take long, and then things start to slow down a lot.
I actually like the delay. I'll go into that in a moment, as to why. This is actually a really good round. Okay, I can talk about it. So what's really cool there is that they throw the initial crossover smokes. And obviously, when you're against pistols, you don't necessarily want to have the smokes out. But one thing you've got to be careful of if you try to cross with the smokes is that, you know, a pop flash play through the smoke. So I think what they were trying to do there is they smoke off, crossover, and short and so on, and make it look like they were really going for it, and bait out any pop flash plays. And when there are none, then the smoke comes to CT spawn, which is a single smoke to block off, you know, from CT. and then they push, which leaves things more open for them, and they know at that point there's likely going to be no pot flash plays. So it just like kind of makes things more safe. So I actually thought that was pretty cool. Some levels to that. And that's already better team spirits than what we saw against the Vanguard, for me.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like a local thing. Like, take Street Fighter, for example. Sometimes you play... You've got one character, the other guy's got another character, but rather than playing like the character matchup, you're playing the matchup with your friend because you're familiar with his habits and so on, and things get weird. I do wonder if there is a similar thing going on in that previous match.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, who knows? Flarich will try to hold on to this AK-47, and Flarich is a man who he's got a lot of multi-kill rounds for Prostor in the previous matches.
I feel really stupid now because I just got tweeted that we were asking about what Dima means it before, and it's just short for Dimitri.
Oh, is it?
Supposedly, that's what I got.
Is that relevant to both? Are they both called Dimitri then?
Because well, maybe I don't know, but we don't have the Dimasic here now. We'd have to check HLTV, but yeah, that would make sense, I guess. Yeah, I mean Dimitri. There we go, Dima Dimitri. Cheers, Sliggy. Cheers.
Don't believe him. They believe his lies.
Oh, Keith.
Oh, Keith.
Oh, Keith. Thanks, Keith.
I believe Keith.
Apparently, just make the assumption it's Sliggy. Well, Keith has stepped up to the...
Okay.
What's that?
Never mind.
Okay. Alrighty.
Still don't believe Sliggy.
You still don't believe it?
If you come across him, just don't believe whatever he has to say. Sviat has gone through B apps immediately. B apps. Why do I keep saying B apps? It's not Mirage. He's gone through B halls immediately in response to this action on the A site. So Prostor will be given time. It's interesting because, like, okay, another round, they've taken long and they're waiting and they have no map control elsewhere. So surely they are going to commit to long now and push the A site. Now this delay allows Prostor to get into better positions, but what can they do with it?
They've been on YouTube. They weren't doing these smokes in the last Dust 2 game. Alright, we've got this has been denied absolutely. Really nice start from Prosto there on the defense. And they're going to absolutely cripple the push. In fact, annihilate it just completely. But yeah, I just clicked that. We didn't see those smokes at all from Team Spirit again on Dust 2 against the Vanguard, did we? Just like all these smokes hitting short from A long.
Please don't ask me things that require memory, Dan.
I'm pretty sure we didn't. I'm pretty sure we didn't because I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And if I'm thinking that, I'm not thinking. I would have. That means I haven't seen it from them earlier.
Just a reminder: the winner of this match will qualify for the major. The match to follow is for the prize money. First place is $30,000, if I'm not mistaken, and second place is $15,000. I think third is $5,000. Yeah, correct, says producer Reese. Don't trust him either. But he's correct. Kenzor cleaning up. Team Spirit with 3 players left. Coldy outside the B bomb site. Sviat and Kenzor are there. Some Die Young will be true to his name. And Coldy will quickly follow. Some Die Young's been doing the big output so far with 8 kills. Davkos still looking for his first. There is an AWP on Ivan here, so it won't be a terrible concern if they picked up. I love this skin, by the way. That skin is pretty awesome. I think it is a deceased horse. People's like, it's a dead dragon lore. Right then. Oh, hello. Okay, instant. 30 seconds remaining. Now he knows one of the 3 players are in CT spawn. He has a smoke of his own. Where does he identify these players to be? Even if he... Ooh, def. I don't know what assumption he was making there. Where did he think that smoke had come from? Maybe he was just facing the site to see who would peek first. A difficult situation. But he did well to pick 2 players. Now, Team Spirit do not have the money to buy in this round. Mostly... Well, let's see. For the most part, they've got 2,500 to... Let's just say an average of 2,500. That's enough. That's a nice round for Prostor. They have won the last 2 rounds. He is not a man who is very excited right now at this moment. People, they're in the zone. They're in the zone. They're focused. There's much on the line here. You know, they've come here. The struggle has been real. And now they are at a point where they could qualify for a major. Oh, both of these teams. So I expect a lot of long rounds, drawn-out rounds. People really trying to minimize their mistakes. But this might be a fast one. Sotfik has a flashbang. Everybody else just running with the pistols. Target to plant the bomb. And there goes the flashbang. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's a clean shot from Ivan. That is a clean shot. And Coldie fell back, which is curious because the bomb is on short. And the idea is the gauntlet run, trying to use a numbers game. Get one of your babies to make it to the egg. But he just decided the egg was in the other direction. Now there are no eggs left. Three rounds aside. Double sniper rifle for the CTs. Ivan boosted up the short position. I think he's facing the wall because he is expecting a flashbang in the lower tunnel. Device used to do that a lot, especially against Existence era French teams, if I'm not mistaken. They would always pop flash down the stairs and lower tunnel, and he would just stand there, face the wall, wait for the flash. They did it every single round. You've got to mix your game up. That is a disgusting frag from Davkost. He is ready today. How do you peek into that and flick and win the duel? That is noners. 4 men left for both teams. Def and Flaric starting to push the long position. They are very vulnerable elsewhere, so they will take the gamble. Zviat has a flashbang, and that is it around B. He has no smoke to delay these players. That's a very well-timed pop flash. He catches 2 of the 3 players. He buys some time. They don't know if they've just been peeked. Look at this off angle he's holding through double stack. Now he's in a lot of trouble. He finds no connection whatsoever. No reception for his phone. Ivan holding the cross, but won't get anything substantial out of it. Some die young. That smoke grenade actually ends up working very well indeed. And that might be the round once more. Ivan is out CT spawn with the AWP, which means I think he's just trying to collect any grenades that might be on a body. If the even if the AWP was in B frickin' halls, I think it was too far back for him to boost over. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Right then, Team Spirit to take the lead, to retake the lead. This is their first buy round after the pistol and the follow-ups. Bosh. But there's still a strong situation for the next round for Prostar with the 2 sniper rifle saves and a fair amount of money in the bank. Nice. It's got a beard going on there. Very good, very good. After 10 years in real estate and being clean shaven, I will probably never have a beard. I don't really desire a beard.
One of these days. Never mind, we'll go back to that in a second. The push is coming in. And a lineup. Only good for 1 though. Seattle will be disappointed, but perhaps Kenzor, no, he gets the knife. Well, this is a bit awkward, bit rough. It's a little bit rough. And the bomb's only just getting planted now, so there's actually loads of time for the rotation here. Look at the positioning of Davkost. Oh my god, is he going to get 2? He's going to hear the running. He's like, wait, what's going on here? It turns around, stays scoped in. Here's the second player. This absolutely kills the retake. Or maybe it doesn't. I mean, we see Flaric and Ivan able to get a couple kills, but this is taking so long. And yeah, it's taking too long. So going back to you, James. Back to you, James.
What beards?
About you. So
you have the beard for Team James and Dan. So.
Well, there's going to be like one of these days you're going to fly a plane, and you're going to have to make a water landing. If you're stuck, like you won't have made it to the island that you wanted to dive on. You'll be stuck on an island. Then the beard's coming out. Your razors will be taken away by a shark.
I would be so annoyed if I couldn't shave.
you'd have to fashion a razor out of like a flint, like a rock. That would take a while. Would you choose to spend your time doing that?
What is that YouTube channel where they make stuff out of clay, like furnaces and things?
Isn't that just
primitive technology?
I was going to say, isn't that
let me check. I'm going to check immediately. See if he's shown us how to shave yet.
Just like take that with you. Take that knowledge with you.
That channel was so fun to just have on and just watch. No talking in it. People talk too much, Dan.
It's a bit that's ironic, isn't it? It's ironic.
I would argue that we talk just enough. This is a buy round for both sides. Again, the double sniper rifles persist for Prostar. As you can see, they will be forced from, well, Ivan will be forced from his position without seeing an enemy. Ooh, this is a cheeky one. He can see towards the bottom of the stairs from this position, and he can fall off afterwards, though he has no support if he were to be hunted. But they've all fallen away from short, Team Spirit. Some smokes towards the mid to B positions. One is on the box to stop people from looking over it. Sviat has a look, sees two, but he can't do anything about it. Ivan, he's in CT spawn now. If he stayed further back, he could cover the door position, but the window will be enough to take the B bomb site. And there goes Ivan as well.
Team Spirit looks so much better than last series. Like it's crazy actually. Like, you know, we saw the Molotov to deny positioning for the one and done spot on short for the AWPer. You know, like just all these small details that it felt like they were just happy to dry peek, you know, against the Vanguard.
I want to see them towards the end of a map, however.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this could be Chocorino. And I don't mean them specifically.
Well,
I feel like the pressure for both. No, I mean like for both these teams.
Okay.
I think when it comes to endgame and closing out a match or a map, I think that we have seen difficulty in plenty of earlier matches, and now they're closing out maps to win a position in a major. The implications are so much higher because they've made it to this point now. Before they were they were part of the journey. Now they're at the destination. All they need to do is walk through the door. But it seems they've lost. Sometimes they'll lose their footing. The AWPs have finally gone. Finally been taken away, as has everything else. Tactical timeout here, as you can see from Prostar, to figure out what they want to do. 3 players on 4K. No need to ruin the monies. I would expect a... well, even, like you know, as we mentioned, on most other maps, you might expect a half buy here, but... what do you buy on Dust 2, where there are few places to hide? I wonder if there is, like, Team Spirit needs to be careful if they, for example, well, there is limited need to, for example, smoke Xbox in rounds such as this, because if there was a boost on short for the CTs, they could hide behind that. They would be hidden from the lower tunnel position, which would allow them close engagement to somebody who went up the short area. So you need to be careful where you use smoke grenades on Dust 2 in an anti-eco, anti-force buy. This is what I like. They've mostly invested in pistols and 4 HEs. Flarich and Kenzor are on long with them. So similar to what we said earlier about one person spotting door, they kind of got that going on for long. But there won't be a challenge to long anytime soon. But I feel like in a round like this, the T's are probably going to go straight out long or not go long at all. Def being careful now. But Flarich and Kenzor are following instead of rotating towards the A site.
I was going to say, like, the HEs could have been really good on the site. But... yeah, yes, I mean, if they're not...
they could bounce them from short.
If they're not interested in even... oh, they haven't isolated Coldy, though. If they can take his gun. So Coldy is in trouble here. That's an AK. And they don't... There's no way that they can possibly take the A site back now. And there's no way that they can possibly get any frags because Team Spirit can just sit on long. And that's all they can really do. So I think, you know, with the... they just naded Siats. They just used one of the nades and it hit Siat in the face.
Nice. Oh, that's not nice.
So I was going to say, surviving with 5 players here with the AK still is actually just perfect. And they've even kept some of the... well, I was going to say some of the HEs, only one.
This is a rare one.
But this was the correct response, I think.
You'd sometimes see this in North America. Well, one of the T's died, like a 10 men alive at the end of a round on Dust 2. Right then. Prostar back on the bye. Ivan back with the AWP. And they will start with control of the long position. Ivan deploying grenades for his 2 teammates, but there will be no early challenge from Team Spirit. We'll have to keep an eye to see if they change the approach to else. Oh, look at the push in B apartments immediately, but it's not going to work out because Cody is the man.
He is the man.
They can afford to have him run through the smoke. It's unlikely a third person's going to be there, and he can just show presence, and Team Spirit can either look to catch players on the rotation, or Cody will just continue doing. I told you, Cody's the man.
That was funny. That was funny to see. I think as Ivan just pop flash through, and it's like, okay, where the heck? Like having absolutely zero idea where they would be. And that is the round. The one man can win you a round. One man. 3 CTs.
Cody's got some.
What's he got?
Great highlights from this tournament.
Ah.
It was this one round where he just ran through a smoke on Mirage Palace and took out both the players on A. That caught my attention. Don't try this at home. That'd be a good name for a gun. Not sure if it would fit. I wonder now if that would fit. Somebody tell me if that would fit. I don't have time to check right now. I'm kind of busy. Flarich. Ooh, Davkos with a cheeky one. Well done, well done. It's nice from Coldy, getting his lurk on. He is a dangerous player for Team Spirit, and Prostar have opted for a tactical timeout. The money is a mixed bag. 5 rounds in a row for Team Spirit. You can see the round loss is the maximum, bottom right of the HUD when it comes back. 3,400. What is the solution here, boys?
If you think about it, and you combine their T side of this map and the last map they played, they've won. Their ratio of T to CT rounds is pretty good right now. Because what do they concede, like 1 round or something, or 2 rounds on Inferno? So yeah, looking really strong on these T sides all of a sudden. Team Spirit. It's kind of crazy because it just feels like it's very hard to know what to expect from even one team, even if you've seen them play a bunch of maps already. And this buy for Prosto is not going to go too far, I think. You know, it's said it before and I'll say it again. It's very awkward if the other team plays correctly to do much with pistols on Dust 2, on the likes of Dust 2. Hard to make it work. Flarich on the sides. The assistance will be from Def on shorts, but with a couple good flashbangs and a few AKs. They're not going to have too much fun. Oh, there's just no way that I think they can stop this. Look at all the nades going in there. Burst from Team Spirit. That's all Def can do to get off 1 shot before getting shot down himself to 13 HP. The flash through. Nice defense from Dima. That's very important.
Now Flarich has revealed his position. The bomb has not been planted yet. Sviat through the smoke. Running in like a Sviat 500.
Coldy
had to do it. But Coldy will clutch the round. And that's another consecutive round. Yes, there was high damage, but they don't care, man. They got 6 rounds in a row, bro.
Coldy's he's on 1.
He is. He's on 1.
He's on 1.
He's on 5 of them, in fact. Once more, Prostar will go to the double sniper rifles. They have not proven successful so far, however. Davkos he's been quite the sniper today. He's had many, he's delivered at close quarter situations. He's been delivering close quarters, mid-range, and long range. Because those are different skills. And perhaps long range can be the harder one to be the most consistent at.
It's like, you know, tennis having a forehand, a backhand, all this kind of stuff. I guess. Maybe.
Good luck to Serena Williams back in the final after being ranked 20-something Post baby.
Post baby ranking.
I was always a fan of Venus, and then Serena came in and just like beasted everyone. 3 to 9 as far as Prosto are concerned, and they wait. They tried the aggression, it didn't work out. They got beaten by Coldy, and now you almost feel like they might be at the mercy of Team Spirits in this round.
I was gonna say, you actually want a B split, an A split from them in this CT setup, because of the way the CTs are. And in fact, they really sell the B split, and they go for the, or are they going for the? I'm not sure right now, because Zoffic's jumping into CT spawn, although the bomb is towards the A site, so I guess that's the giveaway. But madness all over the place here. Team Spirit's getting picked off. One in double doors, one in CT spawn. That's a lovely shot from Coldy, showing his worth, showing his value, and that's the bomb down for Team Spirits. And this is going to be a costly round for Prosto, whether they win it or not.
Ivan seems to be going for it. I think they're tired of saving. They can buy in 2 rounds anyway, since they're losing everything. But this is such a late push. Ivan doesn't have a defuse kit. I don't know if Kenzor had a defuse kit there, because if he didn't, I mean, maybe there was one on the site. Otherwise, it was somewhat of a suicide run. Maybe they were just tired of being in this world. Let's see. No, Kenzor has no kit. So the 3 of them... Okay, he does have a kit now. He picked one up on the way. Fair enough. But once he goes down in CT, he was so far away as well. That was quite the long run. So I do wonder if that was frustration on the part of Prosto, with the only man with a kit being far away. Assuming there wasn't one on the site, then... Okay, they have gone for a force buy with the FAMASes and a scout. So, well, it is a second last round. I think Prosto think that 3 rounds just isn't enough. And Ivan will be entertained, but he can't focus on that the whole time. With a scout as well, he needs a headshot. Does he continue to peek?
I think that might actually be a good peek for him, because I think that some of the best chance to win this round would have been to get that kill, even if it's like a low percentage play. Because by the time Team Spirit get into position to actually go for an engagement, like they already have too much disadvantage, they will just lose at a bomb site. So now with 3v5, it would be good if they stacked one of the 2 sites. I think would be a good response here. Because there's no way that they're holding AOB with this current setup. I'm going to try though with that scout, and Team Spirit are taking quite some time here. They're going back. Whoa, what is happening here? This is so interesting. They're just walking back into middle.
So you see Ivan standing here, and you're probably thinking, what the hell is he doing? Well, with that smoke down, he can just body block them if they try to push through it, but the frags will come in elsewhere, and Ivan will be alone. No frags for his team in this round, and Coldy is... Did he run out of bullets? I suppose he did. Doesn't matter, though. It is inconsequential at this point.
1 HP.
11 to 4 is the only thing that matters at present. So 11 to 3. Hello.
These T sides of Team Spirit, man, being very effective. Yeah, 11-3. It's a beastly score, and this is that buy that everyone hates to have to make. The FAMAS buy on does too. Often you'll see short pushes with the FAMAS buy. Oh, actually, okay, I say FAMAS, but I only want FAMAS. But in previous versions of CSGO, you would see the FAMAS, more FAMAS. But yeah, normally you see the CT side trying to mitigate the disadvantage by going aggressive somewhere. And one of the ways that Astralis back in the days used to handle it is they would actually, when they're playing like top tier opposition, they would actually put they would play passively, and they put 3 players towards B, 2 in the site and 1 by the boxes, 1 baiting from the site of the window. To sort of hide that position of the guy behind the box outside the doors of the B site, which would always be zip eggs. And that was always a strong setup. You got to gamble on these rounds as the CTs. Might be a good spot to go. Oh, I think Ivan may have hit his mate there, but still almost gets both kills. Did they do enough damage though? There's 1 more player on the site.
Flarich has limited time. He sees Dima backing that ass up. And now he is in a double pick situation with Kenzor. Does he hold the line? He doesn't know what the situation is towards the short position, but he repositions. Now Kenzor is smoked off, but there is a gap. 2 smokes down, and again, there's still a gap in that. these T sides have got to do better, and that was happening in the North American region as well, if I'm not mistaken. FACEIT coming up the short area. He's got a Molotov, which he could deploy to stop the bomb from going down, but he peeks first. And the HE might do the job. FACEIT now alone, 1 versus 2. Where is the second player? Cody's by the car. Cody peeks first. Teammate pops out, but Cody don't need no teammates. 18 kills for him.
Yeah, it's interesting because you wonder, is Team Spirit's CT side anywhere close to their T side? Because some of their T sides have been very strong, and you know, for them to not have barreled through all of the opposition and to, you know, like let's say 3 maps against Avangard in the previous matchup as well, that is because, you know, they're sort of top heavy in that way, it seems. So I'm curious if, you know, Prosto are able to get a good start, and if they have a decent enough T side, if Team Spirit's CT will be weak enough for them to also get a similar scoreline. It's very possible. Can't count out Prosto just yet. It remains to be seen, and we'll see them look to get that pistol round on the B sites. And Team Spirit already have positioning for this. Davkos in a great spot. Oh, they are in such good positions to deal with the B push.
It's only stock pistols really, so it will come down to the headshots. Ivan is trapped. He may get a consolation frag. Cody almost going for the MLG. 1 versus 3 now through the choke points, and they can line up to pick together. Sotfik is in the corner, but I feel like they could multiple peek him, but they can still do that once he comes into the site. So different strokes for different folks, and the strokes of Team Spirit will do the job. This could be a quick one on Dust 2. Prosto, do they go for the force buy? Of course they do.
The worst has happened. 4 Eagles and a Scout as a response. And they all take themselves up short. Once again, short is the easiest option. If you have... Again, it would be nice if they had just like 1 smoke with this. Just 1 smoke to cover the plants at the very least. And the flashes will have to do. In they go, and that's 1 tag for Davkos. We'll see, obviously, Team Spirit holding on to a lot of these SMGs, and that might be an opportunity. Davkos unscoping. That's a good headshot. It's a chance here for Prosto, perhaps, but in comes the rest of the UMPs.
Ooh, the flashbang spam. They should be getting more than that out of this. Now it's down to Davkos against 2 tagged players. He could do it with the USP. Oh, so awkward. 15 HP. Oh, there it is.
Hello.
Man, that's like playing Left 4 Dead or something.
Yeah.
Boomer.
I did, I think, all of Left 4 Dead 2 on Expert Realism with one other guy. It took a long time. That was very hard.
I barely remember playing the game.
It's like Expert Realism is like when the hunter gets on you, it's like 2 hits and you're just dead, basically. And you don't get any outlines for your teammates or any of the enemies.
That's awesome.
It's really hard. You have to know, you have to be really good and smart.
When I had Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation, I had 1 save, and I had a situation where I was like low health and stuck in a room, and every time I came out of the room, a hunter cut my head off. Every single time, and I just couldn't run away. So I had to start again, and I just gave up. It's like, I can't do this.
I remember that, like...
The room with the reindeer, with the gems in the eyes.
I'll come back to this point in a second. We've got the B split smokes for Prosto, looking to make 4 Galils work, because they had poor economy, needed some nades. Good to know that they buy some nades. They know to buy nades. Dima, that's a good double peek. They are really cleaning this up. The push is very staggered, or the split is very staggered. Using that car for some cover as well, and that will be 15 rounds to 3. This looks like a simple affair for Team Spirit, and I feel foolish.
Standard.
I predicted Prosto. Prosto. Okay. Yeah, in Half-Life 1, I remember playing single player that always had saves on like 10 HP, and that would always be like I'd accidentally save there, and I'd always have to like then do an entire segment like not taking a single hit. Very frustrating. And that's what Prosto are doing right now. They can't take a single hit either. They saved it. They've quick saved in a bad spot, and it's going to be perfect from here on out. Very fast onto the sites. Def will get removed though, and Team Spirit are already rotating into position. Now, was it the gap in the smoke? Easy frag. That's the bomb. Oh, we went forward past it, like through the smoke. That's very awkward here for the T's. Oh dear, this is looking very bad for Prosto. I think this is going to be it for them, James.
That's a wrap.
16-3
No
for
chicken.
Team Spirits.
All vegetables. Yeah, that was, well, Team Spirits deleted Prosto on that map. I think it is reasonable to say. Very one-sided affair, and I mean, again, these guys are playing for a position in the major.
Yeah.
The last spot of this minor, so what are you going to do about that, Prosto? You've got one match with which to fix whatever the hell went wrong.
It's a tough one, but we've seen disasters such as that happen in the past, so hopefully they'll be able to avoid it and continue playing well, but we will find out after the break.